The United Nations is already stretched to capacity.
We stand at a critical point in our history. Already at the beginning of the year, we are facing the largest humanitarian crisis since the creation of the United Nations. Now, more than 20 million people across 4 countries face starvation and famine. Without collective and coordinated global efforts, people will simply starve to death.
The United States is the UN's largest donor, contributing about $611 million this year to the regular budget of more than $2.5 billion. Washington also contributes more than $2 billion annually to support UN peacekeeping missions, and hundreds of millions more to vital programs, including the UN Children's Fund and the World Food Program. VOA spoke with Peter Yo, president of the Better World campaign, via Skype.
We pay 22% of the UN's bills, which basically means that other countries pay 78%. That's a good return for American taxpayers.
UN officials and observers are worried that other nations will not adequately fill a gaping financial hole left by the United States should it drastically cut funds to the organization.
Abrupt funding cuts can't force the adoption of ad hoc measures that will undermine the impact of longer-term reform efforts.
The U.S. budget chief was unapologetic when asked if he was worried that some of the world's most vulnerable people could suffer as a result.
We're absolutely reducing funding to the UN and to the various foreign aid programs, including those run by the UN and other agencies. That should come as a surprise to no one who watched the campaign. The president said specifically, hundreds of times, you covered him, I'm going to spend less money on people overseas and more money on people back home. And that's exactly what we're doing with this budget.
For decades, the U.S. has made international development and humanitarian aid a cornerstone of its foreign policy. Peter Yo says that needs to continue.
We need to stay engaged, we need to remain a global leader, and we need to make sure that we do our share to meet the legitimate humanitarian needs of people around the world.
Yo believes Congress understands this and will ultimately support strong, sustained humanitarian funding. Margaret Besheer, VOA News, the United Nations.